Ladies and gentlemen, and teenagers, but certainly not kids, because later in the video he says the B word. I have the proud privilege to announce to you, coming to you from his very first appearance in his indoor studio, here's One Man's Tracks! Heyo, welcome back, you heard the man. I'm coming at you from an inside place, not just some random walls I plop up underneath the trailer. This is One Man's Tracks, the place where I review random albums that I've picked up off the thrift shop shelves or somebody handed down to me. All secondhand music. You know what today's album is, you see the title, you clicked on the video, but I'm gonna just tease it out for a few more seconds here. Give me a second. Today's four-piece is made up of guitarist Cameron Muncie, you've got bassist Mark Wilson, you've got brothers Nick and Chris Sester, who play the drums. Chris plays the drums and Nick sings lead vocals. They got together in 2002, but the band was originally conceived by Nick and Cameron in high school back in '96, and they went through a number of name changes before settling on one that's named after a Paul McCartney song that he made from his band Wings after the Beatles. I've actually got it right here. Wings Over America on disc 1. First track, you got Jet right over here. In 2003, they teamed up with producer Dave Sardy and would come up with an album whose title comes from a Bob Dylan lyric. I've also got the name of that track right here and an album that it comes off of. It's Subterranean Homesick Blues. And obviously the album name is Get Born. Through Elektra Records, this is a album that reaches back into the early years of rock and roll and Motown, adding in some thunder from down under, and coming out with an electrified pop rock album experience that'll have you tossing off your top and dancing around your house, rocking out hard on your air guitar. Sure, this thing does lean on a lot of classic pop hits from songs like Beatles tracks and Rolling Stones tracks and The Doors. There's a little Pretenders and even some AC/DC, of course. Heck, even the album art looks like Revolver's art. All that said, it still manages to keep me super engaged with driving hits, immediately memorable pop songs, and some excellently executed balladry on top of it all. It's not the first album I go to, but it's a great pick-me-up, crowd-pleasing, fun record that is a great addition to my ever-expanding Oceanic Party playlist. So let's let you know about the number of tracks that I'm adding to that, starting out with a track that's pretty strange to be the opening track, given that the name is Last Chance. But that said, it's kind of a get in your car and drive, really cleaned up, maybe a Wolf Mothery, Black Keysy feel, but that garage rockness is stripped away to a certain extent on this track. Fast, great opener, gets you right into it. Then you're sent straight into The Essential, the 3-time APRA winning track for most performed Australian work overseas. Are You Gonna Be My Girl charges in on a garage rockified Motown beat that they say is built off of the Supremes' You Can't Hurry Love. The big controversy around this song when it came out was that it sounded pretty similar to Iggy Pop's Lust for Life, but when Chris actually went and talked to Iggy Pop, he said that when him and Bowie were writing the song, they were also ripping off Motown beats. Whenever I end up mentioning those two bands that I found similar to the song Last Chance, I almost always end up adding the White Stripes to the list, especially when the drumming sounds just like Meg's here. All said, this song is undeniable and I can't help but dance along, and you can't help but sing along with it. Keeping the energy high and the hits rolling with Rollover DJ, a song about their early struggles of trying to find gigs amidst a dance music takeover. Apparently there weren't a lot of people that wanted to listen to guitar music in the early 2000s. But hey, the lyrics here are actually a bit confusing, certainly not groundbreaking. I'm not sure if they're determined or uncertain. I may be reading into it too much, but the stupid, "Hey, roll over DJ, you're spinning away all my time" chorus is just so damn catchy, and the thing bops along at such a good pace that I'll let it slide and just dance along, rocking out to this one as well. Now that the rocket fuel's burned off a little bit, they slow down the pace on an Oasis-like, Beatles-derived piano-backed ballad titled "Look What You've Done." You know the one. It comes out of the chorus with that transitioning "fool of everyone" that has the bum 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 bum, the "Hey Jude" little transition that spruces up the song quite a bit, but the blatant rock worship is a little bit too much here, and especially on these next couple tracks it gets far too derivative. Like with the song "Get What You Need," that has at least some, if not central, musical similarities to The Doors' "Hello, I Love You," and then they follow it up with "Move On," that's essentially "You Can't Always Get What You Want" with just like a country twinge. At least Radio Song has a bit more originality to it, another song throwing back to their struggling early days. It is frankly not my favorite track though. I like the self-awareness and the psych rock vibes, but melodically it's probably my least favorite of the bunch. "Get Me Outta Here" is maybe what some music snobs might say at this point of the album, and it's the name of the next track, but the boys are back in gear with this one, with a fun supportive piano and a simple driving beat. This album really shines if you take it in the car with you, bring it on the road. Spending 8 weeks on top of the mainstream rock charts, Cold Hard Bitch sees them picking up their Australian roots with some AC/DC worship that's a little more apparent on this one. I'd be amiss to not mention the 2001 Buckcherry hit "Crazy Bitch" with some lyrical similarities, as well as them both sort of being a little bit off-brand. If I thought the band had really any idea of what their identity really was at this point, I'd maybe fault them for this track, but hey, with a high-stakes studio debut, I say swing for the fences and throw everything you got at them. The album softens up for a thoughtful, reflective song titled "Come Around Again." It's a heartbroken, country-styled foot dragger, but then the album claps you back into action with the energized "Take It or Leave It." I'm not sure if it's the "yes" or the production style here that reminds me more of Wolfmother. With the first half of Lazy Gun, I'm picking up a lot of black keys again, namely the song "Gold on the Ceiling," which came out I think maybe a decade after this one. This track's got a wide open chorus though that's just a lovely breath of fresh air every time it comes around. I really like the lyrics. The songwriting in the last half of this album gets better and better, particularly on the closer, that's a song that's named after the Sester's unborn older brother, Timothy. A song that was sampled by Timbaland on Shock Value 2. Musically, it's a bit more of that spacey, floaty, Beatles Oasis vibe, some soft rock with some psych rock tickles to close out this mainstream foray. Between the release of this album and the recording of their next, unfortunately Nick and Chris's father would pass away from cancer, and as a tribute to him, Nick wrote the title track off their second album after him, "Shine On." That album received mixed reviews, and personally I did find it lacking in memorable cuts, but their '09 follow-up, Shocker Rock, was not only more their own sound, but also they managed to recapture a little bit more of that energy in the production found on this CD. Let's check if it's still filming. It is. Due to some long-standing arguments, they disbanded in 2012 with Nick going and releasing a solo project titled Sugar Rush, and Chris would go and work on his doom disco project Damn Dogs, reuniting in 2016 and making their live debut again in 2017, opening up for Bruce Springsteen on his Australian leg of his big world tour. They would release a 2018 live celebration of a 15-year anniversary of this album right here, and hopefully nowadays they're working on a brand new stuff and cooking up some hot new tunes for us. I heard in an interview Nick saying that he's kind of tired of having these songs performed over and over again. He's probably been bouncing around in his brain for over 20 years at this point. What are your guys' memories of Jet in those early 2000s rock years? Let me know with a comment, and hit me with a like if you like the video, and maybe consider subscribing for another weekly random album review next week. 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me, because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. Look so fine that I really want to make you subscribe. Ooh. I can see you are with